first tour that Janet and I have ever done. So, kiddos, get ready. We've been around together for a long time, but we've never done tours. So this is a treat, I suppose. The Riverwalk is a gorgeous little piece, very small, as in short, along the river here. It's been somewhat restored back to maybe what it looked like. The street itself is looks like the original bricks, but who knows? It's Monday morning, and yet it's still, you got some people around having a good time. The rest of the waterfront is a working river, right? You've got barge traffic, you've got big ships coming in. NOAA has a big presence here. And what JW Marriott did was take some of these old manufacturing buildings and transform them into this beautiful remembrance of what might have been and what was. So the Marriott's actually a reproduction. A fantastic attention to detail. Unless I certainly didn't know it was a reproduction. But hey, kudos.
That part is not a reproduction.
Where the tower is. Yeah.
Just the brick part is the reproduction.
Sure. And from 2015, you can't tell it's that new. And it really does match quite well with the existing buildings that are along River Street. So you're going to see maritime and nods to rail travel throughout this because, hey, that's what they were using. Nice NOAA ship. Propeller Club of the Port of Savannah erected this. It's always nice when you can see that they've been able to repurpose structures that could ordinarily have been torn down when they've lost their economic vitality, but they certainly have found a way in which to revitalize it. Gives you a sense of what it might be like walking down this 200 years ago. You have to use your imagination.
What a beautiful home, everyone. Look at the front entrance. The columns. They started building this 1842 to 44. This is the Hopper folks' home. 1930s, it was put up for auction. It was on the auction block. The lady that purchased it at the time owned the Georgia Tea Room. Her name was Alida Harper.
Well, so far this tour has been everything I was hoping for and more. Incredibly informative. Their guides were at stop number 5, which is Forsyth Park, which is really huge. Surrounded by beautiful antebellum, well, maybe not antebellum, but certainly period homes. If you like old architecture, this is your place. It is for sure beautiful. So what do you think so far? Is it worth it?
It is. It is. I wish we'd done the 2-day.
Yeah, the 2-day. Yeah, I
we-
think that if you really wanted to have an in-depth experience, the 2-day would be your jam.
Yeah. Now I wish we had done the 2-day, and gives you more time at all the stops. I mean, we're at stop 5, and we've been going for an hour, and there's 15 stops.
Yeah,
so-
over an hour.
Yeah. So I would say you want the 2-day, especially if you want to film.
You bet. Pretty nice fountain to come out of a catalog. Forsyth Fountain. Mid-morning on a Monday, and people are out enjoying their square. One of many.
She was, because I even asked them how to take this out. They said this is Humane Society, this is rented.
Good.
People with booths have paid $5,000, and they all have paid off. And I said,
Well, you know, I really do like people watching. And there are a lot of people who must enjoy that same sport, because there are quite a few people sitting around watching other people walk by. We're over on the south side, I think it's south side of Forsyth Park. And, you know, if you need to do something, do your business, whatever, they have a very nice little spot here. You can get some coffee. But I don't need any. Okay, so stop number 5, we're gonna hop on and do what Janet thinks is the right thing for us to be doing, because she's in control. Well, Janet's first impression of this is Savannah's a beautiful city. And she's, which surprises me, is that she said, you know, this is a place I could live. Well, it is gorgeous. There's no doubt about that. But hey, this is the beginning of May and it's already warm, humid. Come back some other time when it's in the middle of summer. That's why you go up to North Carolina in the mountains. Neighborhood, you're in the right neighborhood right there. horse tours. Lafayette Square. The fountain at Lafayette is just surrounded by these live oak trees. Been here forever. Never lose their leaves. Immensely dense wood. And all of this is framed with these beautiful Revolutionary War, Civil War era homes. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, you know, you're gonna have places like this wherever you go. The shops are interesting. The buildings are interesting. The people are interesting. Maybe I'm interesting. But, you know, it is nice to get off and just enjoy what's going on around you, which is what we're doing here. Janet wants to look at some of these shops. There are quite a few of them around. Cafes. If you're getting off in other areas, unfortunately the streets are very busy and you got to watch what you're doing. I mean, you may be on vacation, but they sure aren't. So, you know, be aware of your surroundings. So, Janet's been jonesing for cookies or something to eat for a while. The first place we walked into on this street turned out to be a bakery for dogs, which you'd think would be cool, but really it's just another unfortunate hook because all the stuff was prepackaged and didn't look like it had actually been baked for a dog. Beautiful inside. And air conditioning, of course. All right, so, you know, it's always nice to walk in on a conversation, and ours is that if you'd studied the map a little bit more thoroughly, and that would be both of us, we would have a better idea of when you got off, what you could see, which unfortunately we didn't do. We literally got off right over in that direction just a little while ago. Stop 3, and we could have just walked right over here. But hey, it is all part of the journey. It's all fun. And don't let it bother you. The only thing that we're at all worried about, frankly, guys, is the dog. But the dog's in air conditioning. The dog has water. The dog has food. The dog has TV if she wants to figure out how to turn it on. So the dog's going to be fine. We hope. She's a very resourceful dog. One of the really nice things about repurposing and trying to do new things with older parts of a city is that it keeps people here. The people are now enjoying it. They're getting tax revenue out of it, I'm sure. But mostly it's being used in a modern setting, and people are enjoying the way men or women, people, used to live back 150, 200 years ago. It's kind of nice to take that little bit of a leap in your own head and to imagine how it might have been in their time. At least that's what I like to do. The river walk is not hugely long, but it's certainly worthwhile getting down to see. It's an active, the Savannah River is an active maritime business. I mean, there's lots of industrial, and of course you've got, the request, you've got to have a river boat or two. How can you have a river in Savannah without river boats? And of course they have them. If you want to take a riverboat tour, go ahead. Yeah, that's where we started, was the Marriott. So, the shops are nice. You've got places that you can sit, many different squares, 22 of them that are active, 24 originally. Unfortunately, 2 were torn down, if you can do such a thing to a square, and built new buildings over them. Luckily, somebody decided to put a stop to that madness and retain the history that is here in a beautiful southern old city. Wow, these flowers smell good. But you've got good, you've got old, you've got new, all 9 yards, all right here. Nice mix of the old and the new.
Still help me with that truck behind us? Okay. We hadn't had a lot of rain, and over 2/3 of the city was burned that year. We lost over 300 of our homes here in Savannah. Now up ahead of us to the right, this is the old Kennedy Pharmacy, dates back to 1890. If you're going to go to the Isaac Davenport House, which is our next stop, stop number 13, you can get tickets right there in the old Kennedy Pharmacy. If you'll talk to any of our older locals here in Savannah, they will tell you that that was once the best place to get an orange. On the left here, this little white house right here, and there's a plaque on the end of it. It's going to show you what year this house was built. $1799. They've withstood all the hurricanes, tornadoes, and fires we've had here in Savannah. We're now in Green Square. Over to the left of the trolley here, this pink bottom building here, this is the Second African Baptist Church. In the 19th century, Green Square was the centerpiece of the African American community. Now that church was built when First African Baptist Church across town outgrew its membership. Now, from that very church, folks, there were several sermons preached, and one of the sermons, before it became popular, was preached here often. When it became popular, it was then known as I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King.
Gorgeous here.
Lafayette Square.
No, Chippewa.
Chippewa. Ah.
I was told where Forrest Gump sat was right there. On the other side of the end of his, where the sign is. We gotta go that way.
And of course, where that sign is where they used to have the park bench for Forrest Gump. People don't sit here and know about it, probably because they were making a traffic nuisance of themselves. Nope, they don't even have a sign, but you found it. Well, we're back at Skidway Island, which I'll just pop up a little bit of a video for you to take a look at this beautiful view that we have here. We're actually out sitting in the marsh land, surrounded by marshes. And I thought I'd just take a minute or two to give you the final thoughts on our very first actual tour. Extremely informative, very useful. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I think the tour operator did a wonderful job. What is Old Town Trolley, I think it's called? Yeah. There had another one, Old Savannah. The two of them were running side by side, as I commented, because, you know, I'm a smart ass. Towards the end, I said, oh, you guys have got a good war going on between the two. And he says, you bet we do. So I would look at them as a honest competitor, because their trolleys are just as nice, if not even nicer, than Old Town. The guides, you know, some guides are better than others. Some guides had really great stories, one or two, maybe not as much entertainment value, but they all at least had information, so that was well worth it. It was $41, I think, for us, and that was well spent. 2 day or 1 day? I would definitely do 2. If you've got 2 days, which we don't, it'll give you a little bit more time, actually a lot more time to spend. After you've done 1 day, you'll really know what you want to come back and hit. When we started the tour, the woman who was very nice, Gina, in the morning, suggested that we do the 90 minutes on it and then come back and decide what we want to do. In a 2-day tour, that might be a really good idea. But if you're doing 1 day, it's going to be really a long day. And you have to be on the trolley again by 5. We started at 9, and we didn't get off until 1. And we weren't really, you know, just standing around not doing anything. We were moving, active, looking at things. So if you take it right up to 5, you still wouldn't see it all. So 2 would be our suggestion. And going forward, if we have that option and we think about doing a tour, we'll probably make our trip plan so that we could do that. Although this really isn't a travel channel. when we have opportunities like this, I'll talk about them. Now, we did have time pressure because we have a wonderful dog, Shadow, that sits in our RV with air conditioning, food, water, so she's not suffering by any means. We have very nice coverings over Dawn Treader so that the sun doesn't beat in on her. So she was fine. And there's Shadow. Hey, Shadow.
If you don't have a Shadow, you go by so many restaurants.
Yeah.
You could really hop off and enjoy a lunch somewhere. And I was kind of sad that you didn't have the time for that.
Yeah, and because there were a lot of really cool places to go. I mean, I personally was really mad that we didn't go to the ice cream place, Leopold's, because it was just talked about, and I wanted ice cream, but time was our tyrant. So make sure that you have some planning so time doesn't become your tyrant. I've got all kinds of different stuff, as you've seen, interspaced in this, and I find that Savannah was a refreshing change from things that we've done before. And gosh, I don't know that we're going to come back to Savannah because we just have a lot of other places we want to go, but I definitely would move it way up on my list of things to do. So anyway, we're going on down the road. We're going to go to Charlotte. So I'm going to do another one of these semi-travel things. I mean, if you want to find out about Savannah and Charlotte, and you already know about YouTube, you can just find gobs of this stuff. All I'm doing was giving an impression of our tour based on somebody who's never done one before and why we would find value in it in the future. So
Going to
Charleston, and that's why Janet's the navigator. For sure. So anyway, wrap it up and see you on down the road. Have a good one.